Okay, so one of the key concepts from Marina Burik's virtualized world of capitalism is the concept of subjective desire. Subjective desire obviously comes from understanding objective reality, but very simply put, subjective desire is when the process and the goal become one. In the process, you realize that the process itself is just as important as the goal. And of course, this equality is not the same kind of equality as we are used to perceiving nowadays. It is the unity of the opposites. So when you are engulfed in the process and it matters to you just as much as the end goal does, this is where you can find your subjective desire. And as an example, as I gave a few months ago with love, when you get to know somebody concretely, this is when you exercise your subjective desire, because it's the person, not what they give you or provide for you, that matters to you. But of course, the process of getting to know them and acquiring perhaps something for yourself, be it wisdom, be it pleasure, be it happiness, whatever it may be, this is also important, obviously. So when the process and the goal become one for you, this is when you experience objective desire. So if you apply this model to any kind of capitalist fueled desires, you realize that the vast majority of us have very limited capacity to practice our subjective desire, because it's almost never the process. Imagine if you just want bread, some kind of nice bread. Okay, you go to the store, you acquire it, and that's it. Here's the product. There's no process. Going to the store for most people is not hard. And for those people for whom it may be hard, they may ask someone else to bring them bread, or they can pay for someone else to bring them bread. There's no process. So therefore, your process and your end goal become disattached, because you have no involvement in the creation of that bread whatsoever. Then this bread is just a product for you. Enjoying the process of the consumption of the bread is not the same, because again, it is an object that is somewhat alien to you, that you just acquired through magic, right? The magic of the exchange. So it means nothing to you. It's just bread. If you eat some of it and then the rest goes moldy, you're like, oh well, whatever. I can buy new bread. But if you made the bread yourself, if you put in the effort, if you studied all the ways to make bread, to make it perfect the way you want it, then it's going to be different. Then the process of making of that bread is going to even change the taste of that bread. Have you ever made any kind of food? I'm not really big into food. I don't cook. My husband does. But whenever I cooked on a few occasions, the taste of the food is different. It's not worse. It's not better. It's just different. And you relate to that food differently. You're not going to waste it. You're not going to squander it. You're going to feel attached to that food because you made it. You put a part of yourself into it. Hopefully not materially, but ideally, you put a part of yourself into that product, so it starts to matter much more. So with the subjective desire, all processes are like this. If you have no idea how something came into fruition and you're just enjoying the aftermath of whatever it is, then it may be whatever to you. So this is why we look at each other in such a way, because we do not participate in communal building of each other. We do not participate in communal becoming. This is why people are these abstract shapes to us, amorphous, and we don't really care. We just care what it is they can give us, right? Can they give me fulfillment? Can they provide happiness? Can they provide this and that to me? And this is why we are so alienated. Of course, we are alienated first and foremost because we do not partake in the processes of creation. We do not own the means of production. We never acquire the fruits of our labor, of course. Because of this, we're alienated, but we're doubly alienated. This process becomes reinforced when we never experience subjective desire, when the process and the end product are always separate, and we can never unite the two. This is when we start feeling one-sided. We feel like, oh, well, in this area of my life, I can express myself. Maybe it's some kind of a hobby. Maybe it's some kind of arts that I'm partaking in. This is a whole part of me. But then there inevitably is a different person, a different fragment of yours, which has to perform work duties, which has to perform some other duties, maybe societally imposed, like a role of a parent, a role of a mentor, a role of whoever. And then you become separated. And I think this is what Lacan was trying to imply when he talked about schizophrenic fragmentation of the ego. This is different from what Marina's been talking about. Marina's been talking about fragmentation ideologically, even though she never uses that word. But she talked about the fragments of all kinds of different belief systems that we are able to consume, and then we can just exchange them for another. Again, because we do not partake in the creation of these processes. We're just given whatever product is made in the process, and we're told to shut up and just be happy that we have it. And when you start thinking about your own life, and when you start realizing how much subjective desire you actually are able to exercise, this is when you begin to understand that without building socialism, without building socialist ideology, you're never going to truly even enjoy your own life. Even if you happen upon a pile of money, you inherit a ton of money, and you never have to work a day in your life, you're still going to be suffering. You're going to be suffering from alienation. You're going to be suffering from the fact that nothing that you desire is ever truly fulfilling and enjoyable, because you have never participated in that. And if you do find some areas of your life where you're able to exercise some agency, you will see them being separated very clearly from the rest of your life. And again, you will have to do it all in isolation, on your own. Collectively, subjective desire leads to all kinds of social movements. When people come together and they all have the same subjective desire, then they start building processes. Through the fighting, they reach unity. And this is when a synthesis arises. Out of all these theses that all these people bring together, we get the synthesis of those many brilliant achievements. And then the synthesis becomes a new thesis. And of course, in its core, it's going to have the antithesis. So the process will continue forever. So I encourage everyone to see in which areas of life you're able to exercise your subjective desire. See if you can do it collectively, because this is definitely a very worthwhile attempt in organizing. I do believe that for effective organizing, you have to experience subjective desire together with other people directly. But let me know what you think. I hope you have a great day today. Consider supporting me on Patreon. Do take care of yourself and your community first, and I'll talk to you sometime later.